Your wife's fingerprints are all over the crime scene, the detective said. She's been in a wheelchair for 3 years. She can't leave the house. I stared at the detective standing in my doorway, trying to process what he just said. My wife Rachel was in the living room behind me watching television like she did every single day. She hadn't walked since the accident that shattered her spine. She couldn't get to the mailbox without my help. That's impossible, I said. She's paralyzed. She hasn't left this house in 3 years. The detective looked past me at Rachel. Sir, we have her prints on a murder weapon. A knife used to kill a man named Gregory Vance 3 nights ago. Did you know him? The name hit me like a punch to the gut. Gregory Vance, the drunk driver who ran a red light and slammed into Rachel's car 3 years ago. The man who walked away without a scratch while my wife lost the use of her legs forever. He got 2 years probation and a suspended license. Rachel got a lifetime in a wheelchair. He's the one who paralyzed her, I said quietly. The detective's expression changed. I see. Where were you 3 nights ago around midnight? I told him I was home in bed with my wife next to me like every other night. He asked if anyone could verify that. I said no. We live alone. No cameras. He asked to speak to Rachel directly. I let him inside and watched him crouch next to her wheelchair. She looked at him with the empty expression she'd worn for 3 years. The depression had hollowed her out completely. She barely spoke anymore, barely ate. Some days she didn't even want to get out of bed. The detective asked where she was 3 nights ago. She said home. She said she was always home. He asked if she knew Gregory Vance was dead. She said she didn't know anything about it. Her voice was flat. He couldn't get anything else out of her. After he left, I sat down across from Rachel and asked how her fingerprints could possibly be at a crime scene when she couldn't walk. She stared at me for a long time without blinking. Then she said something that changed everything. I can walk. I thought I misheard her. She gripped the arms of her wheelchair and slowly pushed herself up. Her legs shook, but they held her weight. She took 1 step, then another. She walked across the living room while I sat frozen in complete shock. The doctor said I'd never walk again, she said. But 6 months ago, I started feeling my legs. I've been doing physical therapy in secret while you were at work. I didn't tell anyone. I couldn't speak. My wife had been lying to me for 6 months, pretending to be paralyzed while secretly learning to walk again. Why hide it? She sat back down in the wheelchair. Because I needed everyone to think I couldn't walk. I needed the perfect alibi for what I was planning. The room started spinning. Rachel, what did you do? She told me everything. She spent months planning it carefully, learning Gregory Vance's schedule, where he lived, when he'd be alone. She practiced walking at night after I fell asleep, built up her strength until she could move silently through the house. 3 nights ago, she waited until I was deeply asleep. She got out of bed on her own feet, took my car keys, drove to Gregory Vance's apartment, knocked on his door. When he answered, she stabbed him 11 times with a kitchen knife from our drawer. Then she drove home and got back into bed before I woke up. She did all of this while I slept 10 feet away, thinking she couldn't even stand. He destroyed my life, she said calmly. He took everything from me, and the justice system gave him a slap on the wrist, so I gave him what he deserved. I asked about the fingerprints. She said she didn't care about getting caught. She'd been dead inside since the accident. Prison couldn't be worse than the cage she'd been living in for 3 years. The detective came back the next day with a warrant. She didn't resist. She stood up from her wheelchair and walked to the police car on her own feet. The officers looked as shocked as I had been. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Her lawyer argued temporary insanity from trauma and chronic pain. The prosecution argued premeditated murder with months of planning. The jury found her guilty of voluntary manslaughter, 15 years. I visit her every Sunday without fail. She seems more at peace now than she ever was in that wheelchair. She walks the prison yard every day. She told me killing Gregory Vance gave her back something the accident took away: control over her own body and her own choices. I don't know how to feel about any of it. The woman I married committed murder and lied to me for months, but she's also a victim who was failed by a system that let her abuser walk free. I still love her. I think I always will, but I'll never look at that empty wheelchair the same way again.